Okay, I'm going to show you in this video how to make an ultralight cotton ball fire starter. Okay, to get started, I'm going to tell you the ingredients, materials, if you will, that you'll need. I bought just like a cheap aluminum pot from a grocery store for 50 cents, so that's what I'm using here. Just has to be able to sit on a burner and not care. I will probably never cook food in this because it has Vaseline in it. But that's what I used to melt it. We're actually going to have to melt the Vaseline, so make sure you have a pot you don't care about. Probably the Vaseline's going to ruin it. Next, just the bag of cotton balls, and there's something special. I'm going to tell you a little bit, a couple minutes about what you have to do with these cotton balls. It makes them even lighter. If you want a storage container for when you go backpacking, this easily held 10. They could probably hold 20 if I like 15 probably if I really stuffed it. They easily held 10, and I think it weighs like 1 ounce or something like that, 0.9 ounces. Petroleum jelly, just got this from Walmart. Whatever, I think like $3 or something. Cotton balls are like $1, I think. A spoon helps to get the petroleum jelly out if you don't want to use your hands or anything. And then just some pliers. I was using these pliers, but they're kind of heavy and bulky. Then I was able to find these in my drawer. It's the cheap pocket knife pliers. Okay, what you're actually going to have to do, and I'll show you that here. You also have to get scissors as shown. I don't actually have I've actually done it to all of these cotton balls. I don't have a full one anymore. What I did, I'll focus here onto this and show you what makes my design special over every other one I've seen. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if that's in focus or not, but you can see, and really what I did is just cut it in half. Like here was the cotton ball before, got a normal size cotton ball. I cut it down the center so it gets even like a disc shape afterwards. And what I've used because of the compression of the scissors, cutting down the sides like this. This side of it kind of has a spiral. I guess how the cotton balls are made in the factory, and that's what I've used to absorb the Vaseline. I'll show that later. And so to save weight, and it really doesn't affect burn times too much, and it's really not necessary. I'll explain burn times afterwards later in the video. But I've cut it in half. Not only does that give you twice as many cotton balls for the price, it makes them smaller and lighter. Okay, so to get started, I'm just gonna scoop out some Vaseline here. I found that about this much really only makes about 15. Depends on how much you put, and you can obviously tweak this to however you like, since I'm giving it out for free. Doesn't really bother me because everybody else I've got this idea from did it for free, so why am I gonna do it otherwise? And then all I do is slap it down, turn on the burner. I just turn to like half heat. Sometimes you might have to wait a little bit because it gets stuck to the spoon. And since this isn't flat, it's obviously not the most efficient pot I could use. I'm not quite sure how much this entire jar could do. It probably could do about 100, I bet. Cotton ball fire starters, if you did it correctly. So for about $4 or $5, say $5, you can do 100 cotton ball fire starters, which will last you, depending on how much you go outdoors, it would probably last you many years, or a year. Depends. I guess some people probably go on 100 nights in a year. Let's see, get this. Oh, let's use the pliers here. Taking off like this. use your pliers and try to get the Vaseline off. Just be patient and wait until the pot heats up, and you can use the side of the pot, kind of press down all the Vaseline and just kind of melt off the spoon. Usually it comes off, or you should just get a second spoon to do it. But I've dedicated this spoon, just a cheap spoon from a kit I got from my dorm room, so it works. Let's turn it up to high and get this heated a little bit more. Okay, now we got the spoon part clean off. Sorry that took so long. I guess so. I sped up the video, so you didn't have to wait that long. But yeah, now you see, you probably can't see it very much. Jiggle it around there. Actually, I need to refocus it on here. Let me do that real quick. Okay. Refocus it on there real quick. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, excuse my kitchen skills. I accidentally spilled some on the burner. I had to clean that up real quick. And the video also stopped in between, so that kind of worked out. But yeah, you'll have a small little bit, less than what it looked like you had in your spoon. It melts down thinner. It's kind of like ice, how water expands. And I also got a hair in there. Anyways, it'll stay melted for quite some time, so you can probably just turn your burner off, and just the heat from having the burner there will keep it melted just fine. And if you want, you might as well, I can do that on the stove, so I guess you can use your vent as well if you don't want any of the fumes from the Vaseline going up. Anyways, I'll just show you what I've found. It seems like it works, at least in my opinion, it works better. The spiral that I showed you, the spiral side is the side you want to soak up the Vaseline, versus the other side, because it's more of a flat on the spiral side. So what I do is just kind of grip it with the pliers. Just kind of make sure there's enough Vaseline. Dip it in. Make sure it's probably about a half a centimeter, 1/4 of an inch, or something, maybe not quite, 1/8 of an inch, just over an 1/8 of an inch. Half a centimeter or so of Vaseline. Make sure it's not dripping or anything. I gotta focus it, of course. If I can get it refocused. But yeah, you can kind of see the Vaseline on the side there. Kind of soaks down. That's all you're gonna need. And what I do is just on the plate here, on the wax paper, forgot to mention that, wax paper, aluminum, paper towel doesn't really work the best because the paper towel will absorb some of the Vaseline itself, so that's probably not the best option to use. And what I do is just keep on going through, getting my half-cut cotton balls, dab it in real quick, sending it over here to dry, and repeat. And pretty much the more you put in there, the longer it's gonna burn. I found these burn about 3 to 4 minutes, which what I found is if you have fairly dry wood, not soaking wet, that should be more than enough to get a fire started. Because what I found is the ones I made before, most common method, you get a whole bunch of Vaseline and kind of wipe with your hands with a spoon or something the Vaseline on the outside of the cotton ball, and it just kind of is on the outside there. And then using the fibers, you light the cotton ball, and that works quite well. The only problem with that is they're heavy, slimy, messy, harder to make in my opinion. So like many downsides, and really they only burn about maybe a little bit longer than these, and it's really not necessary to get a fire going. So what I've done is I cut the cotton ball in half. Which saves cotton ball weight, which is negligible since cotton balls don't weigh like anything. But since you're not have as much Vaseline on it, that saves a lot of weight there. They're more compressible because having a full-size cotton ball is going to take up obviously twice as much room as a half size like this. And so you can fit more into a smaller canister. So what I'm going to do today, hopefully go find a canister that will fit maybe like 5 of them. What I'm going to do is probably have like 5 or so for like a 2-day trip maybe, or even something like that for backups. And or probably have like this canister if I ever decided to do a week trip, and have like 10 of them, or maybe more, maybe 14, 2 per day, just so I have enough for sure. And since they only probably be like a half-ounce penalty to hold twice as many as I need, it's probably worth it to be able to for sure get a fire going when necessary. And I just dip them like that. Very quick to do. Notice how, like, if you smother them on with the non-melted Vaseline, like the time it takes you to do 5, you might be able to get 1 done. So it's much quicker to make. The other method, as shown, I'm not sure his name, is probably one of the top viewed videos for cotton ball fire starters, is he has a full cotton ball. He dips it on one side, flips it over, holds it with the pliers, and dips it with the other side. So it has Vaseline on both sides. That's a very good method if you're trying to get a wet fire going, or you're in a very cold environment and you just don't want to wait for a fire. But the thing I found with those they're much harder to light because there's so much Vaseline in the cotton ball. That's pretty much what these are right here. It's like a glob that's just grease stuck together, and it's pretty much just a dried up glob of cotton ball Vaseline. And those would burn for a solid 10 minutes before they go out, and with a nice solid large flame for 10 minutes, not just like a smaller flame like these give, which these will give off a pretty big flame, but not as big as those and not for as long. So if you're really paranoid, and those weigh probably like 5 times as much because they have so much more Vaseline absorbed into them. But really, if you were to just do half size like this, it works so much better. And then you have dried up cotton, which lights very easily on the back side. What you do is you just pull it off the side, kind of layer it over the top so it gets the Vaseline. Vaseline for some reason is really hard to get lit. Like you would have to hold up a lighter to it, kind of like Esbit, to get Vaseline lit. I'm not sure why that's the case. So it's probably a good thing so you don't accidentally, like, because I spilled them on the stove, so it doesn't accidentally just start a fire, and since Vaseline burns so long, such a thick black smoke, or set off the fire alarm, and everything else, so it's probably a good thing. And then the last one here, that glob, this is the last one that glob will make, and that made about 12, yeah, about 11 cotton balls. So a glob like that make 10 to 15, depending on how much you let soak in and everything else. Started recently letting a little bit more soak in because I think about the 4 to 5 minute range is what I want for a burn time. Because it gets about 3 minutes of solid flame, and after 3 minutes, the last half a minute to a minute that it burns, depending on what cotton ball you have, the flame considerably goes down. But I suppose if after 3 minutes you haven't got a fire going yet, you might want to throw in another cotton ball to help start up another one, which is why I would bring extra. But I think the only time I would have an issue with that is when the wood's wet, because I'll have, if you look into my channel, I have a video of the soot affect stove performance. I showed using one of the prototypes of these to light that stove up. It lit up with one flick of my lighter, and then got a fire going within within like 15 seconds. I had a good fire going, so it's perfect and super easy to do. No having to find like kindling or anything. Just light the fireball. I mean, I guess you can call these fireballs whatever you want to call them, and just pile wood on it because I had the inferno insert so air can get under it, so I couldn't smother it. But you have to build the fire correctly. I'll probably show that next time I go backpack and make a video on my iPhone showing how me and my friend from using these have decided to make a fire. It's kind of like a mix of a lean-to and a I guess kind of like a log cabin maybe. I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but you kind of just like have a wall and then you stack stuff over it and let the fire burn through it, and slowly, don't blow on it anything, and that seems to work perfectly every time. So if you have any questions, please comment below. Like any further suggestions you might see about anything in here, and feel free to subscribe for more videos and helpful tips like this, and I'll see you in the next video.